Hey guys, so today I thought we'd do a little studio tour video. Before we get down to the actual software, here's my desktop workspace. I use an Alesis Q61 MIDI controller keyboard. I also use Alesis monitors. These are M1 Active 520s. For headphones, I use the Sennheiser HD 650s. Love these things. My sound card is the Steinberg UR22, which I'll talk more about later. And my monitor is an ultra-wide LG. So as far as aspect ratio goes, instead of the standard 16:9 that all the other computer screens are, this one is actually 2.4:1, which is the cinematic scope. It's nice when working on video projects, of course, but I actually really like it for my audio programs too. I can basically split the screen in half and put the tracks over on this side and my mixer over on that side. And these are some very pretty looking multi-tracks for the song All I Am. So I was supposed to be working on my studio tour video, but Christian is currently live on the internet playing some songs. Although I don't know what he's doing right now. Messing with his camera maybe. There he is. Fucked up and spun out in my room. On my own, here we go. So that's Christian, the other half of my band, The Calden Road. When I started making music 17 years ago, I started on this cassette 4-track. That basically gives you enough room for drums, bass, guitar, and vocal, nothing else. Anytime you want to do overdubs, you have to mix this tape down to another tape and then put that tape in here and record on tracks 5 and 6 for your overdubs. But even if that's all you have, my song Can't, which has over 500,000 views here on YouTube, was originally written on this very 4-track. After the cassette 4-track, we very briefly used mini discs. They weren't in production for very long, but they held 74 minutes worth of music and it was digital and easy to edit. These days though, I use Cubase Pro Audio. Cubase is a non-linear editing program that allows you to combine audio, MIDI, and any software instruments that you have. In fact, Steinberg, the company that makes Cubase, they invented the VST standard that all the other audio programs use. So Cubase usually has some of the newer VST features first, and definitely has rock solid performance because, as I said, they're the ones that invented it. For you computer music nerds out there, they also invented the ASIO standard. If you want to get into digital music recording and production, I highly recommend Cubase. It's fairly easy to learn, it's super stable. They update the program about once every 12 to 18 months and the upgrade costs are pretty fair. And while Cubase does come with some free instruments and effects, there are plenty more advanced programs available. All of my sounds inside of Cubase come from 2 packages basically. I use Superior Drummer for any drum programming that I need to do. Superior Drummer has multiple kits and can play in a variety of patterns and styles. And of course you can always roll your own kits. Superior Drummer is great because they sampled everything with all of the mics in the room on, so it's just as if you were recording a drum kit in a real studio space. You get the hi-hat bleeding into the snare mic. When you hit the kick drum, it'll actually rattle the bottom of the snare. It's about as realistic as you can get without having a drummer sitting right next to you. And the rest of my sounds come from Native Instruments Complete Ultimate 9. I actually just ordered Complete 10 Ultimate, the upgrade to this. Complete Ultimate is basically every single software program that Native Instruments makes. They include instruments, effects, plugins. They also have software synthesizers and other performance tools. But in here you have pianos, you have an entire orchestra, each individual instrument from the orchestra, so I could write just a solo violin line, load up a string quartet, or pull up a full 100-piece orchestra and work on my symphony. There's also guitars, keyboards, organs, bass. Complete is complete. It's everything a digital musician could ask for. And as for instruments I actually play, I use this Epiphone Special 2 as my electric guitar, and this Epiphone bass, which does not have a spot on the wall yet. And anytime that I work with a vocalist or acoustic instrument, I use the baby bottle microphone from Blue Microphones. It just has a really nice sound for the price. So that takes care of instruments and samples. As for plugin effects, I use Waves Mercury Bundle. It includes everything that Waves makes. It's 200 different plugins from compressors to limiters to reverb to delay. There's even a number of surround sound options in here, so if you're ever mixing in 5.1, you have 5.1 plugins. But my favorite is probably some of the tape saturation plugins. And Waves models all of their plugins on actual hardware, so the quality is top-notch. So I need a way to control all those sounds, and as you saw I have the Alesis Q61 MIDI controller keyboard, but I'm not an amazing performer, so sometimes it helps me to actually write out the music. For that I use Sibelius, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. Sibelius is basically a score engraving program, so you can use it to compose your sheet music, and then you can save that as either a PDF for printing or as a MIDI file to take into Cubase. As a secondary notation program I also use Guitar Pro 6. This has great tab notation, and I grew up on guitar tab notation, so I use this all the time just to get my ideas out nice and quick. Again, those files can be saved and printed or exported as MIDI. And sometimes tapping out drum programs on a keyboard doesn't feel natural, so I also have this pad controller. Each pad is pressure sensitive and can control a different part of the drum kit, so I could assign the kick here and the snare here. And then I can just tap those out with a little more of a feeling like drumming on the desk versus a keyboard. And as for getting audio in and out of Cubase, I use Steinberg's UR22. This is an external sound card that provides phantom power for condenser microphones, also has direct line in for guitars or bass, has MIDI in and monitor outs in the back, and it's all powered through USB 2, so I don't even have to worry about plugging it in, which is great when I'm playing around on my laptop and need something portable. And the last piece of software that I want to include, but I don't have a box for because it's download only, is Isotope's Ozone. It's a mastering suite plugin. I usually include this on the master bus for any project that I'm working on. And Ozone lets you do some final EQ adjustments, compression adjustments, and limiting maximizing adjustments. It's a really neat tool that sounds good and is easy to use. So as far as audio goes, that's what I'm using. If you have any more specific questions about those programs, just hit me up in the comments. And a few upgrades just arrived in the mail. This package is from our friends at Sweetwater. First up is the Native Instruments Complete Ultimate 10. The collection is so large, it's 440 gigabytes. They actually just send it to you on a branded external hard drive. So it's USB 3, and you just plug that in to install everything instead of using installation discs, because it would have to be an entire spindle of Blu-rays. And in the other box is the Complete Control S25, which is not only a MIDI controller keyboard, but also lets you browse and control all of those instruments in Complete. You can tweak the parameters here as far as EQ or synth sounds or various patches in the sample libraries. Here you have pitch bend and modulation, and they're all by touch, they're not wheels. It's so pretty. And yeah, this is probably going to replace the Q61 you guys saw on my desk earlier. And the best part about ordering from Sweetwater is that they include a couple pieces of candy with every single order. So yeah, the next time you picture me working on a track, this is what I'm looking at.